bothered me a little bit. The pacing seemed a little off, just in the sense that, I mean, there's sort of a misdirect there, where it starts off with you think the story's going in one direction and it goes off in the other. It's just the problem is, I think that the quality that comes around, the quality that the episode has, the really interesting part comes when the TARDIS meets up with the Doctor, and everything before that just sort of feels like a waste of time in comparison.
Yeah. I mean, I could agree with you on that. And I think half the reason why is the chemistry that the Doctor has with the human TARDIS. I think they cast that role brilliantly, and I couldn't see anybody else playing that part now at this point. I mean, I forget the actress's name. I should have looked that up and written it down. But I did try to see if she had an autograph on eBay as the TARDIS yet. There isn't one, because I would have bought it. Because I thought her role in that was amazing, and I really doubt she's ever going to come to the States for a convention. So yeah, I'm willing to actually buy that autograph to go with my Peter Davison one. But yeah, you're right. And one thing I want to say about the pacing, I think the pacing also felt different because it was Neil Gaiman writing it.
Yeah.
It definitely had a Neil Gaiman sort of pace to it, especially if you ever watched Neverwhere, which was his first attempt at a miniseries for BBC, which was absolutely amazing, because when I watched it, it felt so much like Classic Who. With production values and stuff like that, it just screamed Classic Who. It was amazing.
And he's also got sort of this thing where it's like he doesn't mind taking his time to tell the story.
No.
And I know he said that in earlier drafts of the script, the TARDIS doesn't get put inside of the woman Idris up until about the 20-minute point.
Wow, really?
And yeah, and they later drafts kept pushing it to an earlier and earlier point because he realized that's when the story starts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is key to the entire story, in my opinion, or at least the story that we got to see. It was phenomenal. So anything you didn't like about the episode, Liz?
Sorry. I had something, and then I forgot it. You go, and then I'll go after you.
Really, I mean, for the most part, my only qualm was the thing that I was arguing with Clayton about earlier about the whole sex change. But beyond that, I think it's an absolutely brilliant episode. I don't think it's perfect, but it's definitely in New Who. It's probably in my top 3 favorite episodes.
Oh, I remember. Why couldn't he have... I mean, if he knows so much about the TARDIS, why couldn't he have put something together where the TARDIS could talk to him? Because, I mean, now it's completely confirmed that the TARDIS has a consciousness,
yeah.
And the TARDIS, you know, actually is looking out for the Doctor and everything. And it's not like there are a million other shows with talking computers. You know, it's been done. It could be done here, and it would add an interesting new element. And I'm sure that, like, a lot of Doctor Who, you know, it's been going for 48 years. It has a lot of, you know, staying power. Everything has to stay the same, sort of. But, I don't know, it could have been a new, unique element.
Yeah.
Oh, but I have a point, because I actually, on my Tumblr, had posted a picture of the episode picture they had out with Idris and the Doctor.
Yeah.
And my friend Diane made a good point, was that it would kind of kill, you know, if the TARDIS then later had a voice and was there to communicate, it would kind of kill the companion effect of the Doctor needing a companion to be with him, because he would be the Doctor and the amazing adventures with the TARDIS.
Well, one of the things that they did bring up in the episode was that the TARDIS couldn't talk. Even if he wanted to, even if he put the machinery in there. The way this particular model was designed, I mean, it was Type 40, I mean, and it was almost an antique when he or she, you know, when he took it or when she wanted him to take her.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounded really dirty. It just wasn't possible for that model. Not to say that, you know, newer models might be possible, because like I said, the Doctor has rebuilt this TARDIS time and time again.
Yeah.
So if there was a way for him to do it, he would have done it by now. Because the concept of the TARDIS actually being a soul, a living thing, has been around for a while. I can't remember if it was the Baker days or later that really sort of addressed that, but the Doctor's always had a fondness for the TARDIS like it was a real person, like it was a companion,
Yeah.
but a silent one. And I absolutely did adore the line when she said, where he's yelling at her saying that you never took me where I wanted to go, but I took you where you needed to go. Yeah.
I also really liked how she kind of, when you saw the graveyard of broken down TARDIS pieces, where she mentioned the fact that, these were only her fallen sisters, where, TARDISes were chicks. Chick souls.
Well, I have nothing on that one. I can't say if they're guys or girls, because
They've never really addressed it before.
They've never really addressed it before, and I think kind of like R2-D2 in Star Wars, the TARDIS is something special and unique.
Yeah.
She has, the Doctor's always referred to her as a female, as sexy, as old girl, things like that. So, it's something special, something unique.
Yeah.
Not every TARDIS is going to be like this.
She's sassy.
But I do want to talk about one major spoiler that was in the episode.
Go on.
I know what it is.
When the TARDIS, or Sexy, was talking to Rory, and she kept repeating something to him.
Mm-hmm.
I took it as the straightforward, obvious spoiler of, when they're in a forest, they're going to need a river, or they're going to find river, as in A.K. River Song. What was pointed out to me by one of my friends, Courtney, this could be a reference to not a normal forest, but the forest that we see in Silence in the Library, which the forest is this library. The forest, let me see if I can get this straight, because I can't remember episode titles. Besides Silence in the Library, I forget what the second part is. But basically this alien life form, the Vashnarad, I think I pronounced that right, is this living shadow that consumes things. They're the things of nightmares. And they live in forests. And what are books made out of? Paper, of wood. So this entire, basically, moon is converted into a giant library, which the Vashnarad assume is their forest. And the thing about that two-parter, which I'm going to have to show the two of you, is the last time we see River Song.
Oh.
And that's also the first time the Doctor ever met her.
Oh.
So she was saying that this could be a reference to them having to go back to the forest to save her from the existence that the Doctor had to put her in at that point in time. But I think before we could actually get to that point where they could save her from the library, we still have to see the bad thing she's done. We still have to see her first meeting with the Doctor. And this possibly could be a plot point for the 50th anniversary. Because Moffat has said, and I think a few other people that are planning to be around for the 50th anniversary have already said that they're already thinking about it, what they're going to do for the 50th anniversary. So, I think this could be, so it's going to be curious to see exactly how this one little line is going to be used. But I think that line was probably put in there by Moffat, or, Moffat said, I need you to, basically have somebody say this to the Doctor, or Rory, or somebody, and just do it in your special, unique way. But I felt bad that I never thought about it past the, general, they're going to be in a forest and, they're going to have to find a river. Which is kind of unique. Anything else?
I don't know. Is there?
Well, we do have the next time, where we saw the sort of mini trailer for the next episode, which unfortunately I do not remember what the name is going to be for that, but it does involve with a sort of a living plastic that appears to be maybe cloning people or assuming their forms, as long as the people are in hibernation.
Like there were people controllers, sort of like the movie Surrogates.
Yeah.
And then the plastic lost its form when the controllers left.
Which one thing I thought of when I was watching this, and I don't know if it's going to do anything to tie back into it, is that the very first episode of New Who was called Rose, and it dealt with a living plastic type entity. So I'm kind of curious if this is going to tie into that at all, where, I mean, yes, the Doctor's changed from the 9th Doctor to the 10th Doctor to now the 11th, if this is maybe yet another of that race that survived the Time War is now maybe seeking revenge on the Doctor. But of course, we won't know until we get the episode.
Those living plastic creatures were not like liquid plastic, though. They were mannequins.
Well, those were autons. The actual living plastic, the thing that he had the anti-plastics thing to throw in there, that was a liquid plastic entity.
Okay.
I feel like Rory might die again in this episode.
Surprise!
Yeah, and somebody actually made the joke that, you know, oh no, they've killed Rory. You bastards.
He's the new Kenny!
Yeah.
On the upside,
I was telling Piper that, and she was like, yeah.
And he's the pretty one.
On the upside, he has been replaced by a plastic version before.
He has. Again, an Auton. So, I think this brings us to the end. I think we've probably hit about a half an hour mark.
What?
Yeah, I knew this one was going to run wrong.
Hey, this time I didn't offend anybody. I'm very proud of myself. It's my fault, guys, that we had to do this again. I take responsibility.
And that's all we're saying about that, because we don't want to ruin this take.
Yes.
Yes.
But I'm just going to take responsibility.
Yes, it's all Sex's fault. You got any last words, Clayton?
I don't know. I'm glad that we don't have to reshoot this again.
Please, God, don't let us do this again.
Okay, because we're probably going to cut this part out, I think this episode is really for all those fans that want their computers to come back to life in the form of Tim Burton girls so that they can kiss them. And, you know, everything else.
Oh, that's
I
so...
wished really, really hard.
That, I know. Did you wish further there? I mean, I gotta say, this one had some amazing one-liners. I think possibly my favorite, and this is how I'm gonna end my part of this, is I'm a madman with a box without a box. So until next time, for episode 5, we'll be reviewing the Living Plastic episode. And after that, I will be at Timegate down in Atlanta.
And amazement!
Well, I was kind of trying to plug the Doctor Who convention.
I know,
I'm gonna be at.
I just realized that.
Yeah, I'll be at Timegate, and hopefully if all goes well, knock on wood, I will be interviewing Sophie Aldred, who played Ace with Sylvester McCoy's 7th Doctor. So knock on wood for me. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that will happen. And we will see you next time.
And if you happen to be in Raleigh, I'll probably be volunteering at Amazement that weekend. I'll be cosplaying as a comedian who isn't very good.
Hey, and I'll be taking pictures of people with their TARDIS because I know for a fact there will be one.